You're watching We All Be News Radio, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I'm Thaddeus Matthews.
That makes sense, Judge. And also, I had to ask about what's going on in society. I'm trying to see if I get this thing. Hey, brother Phil, how you doing?
Hey there, brother Ron. I'm doing great, and it's always good to hear from you.
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm doing fine, but I'm on the air with brother, the Honorable Judge Joe Brown. We have some deep conversations.
Oh, that sounds like quite the conversation. Being on air with Judge Joe Brown definitely means some deep and real talk is going down. I'm all ears if you need anything while you're live or just want to share some of that discussion.
Yeah, I want to ask you, because I'm going to move in, because Judge talking about, legalities and whatnot. And I'm interested in the state of women right now in our country and the world. And I want to talk about, what are the percentages of women being the lead cause in domestic violence situations? Can you give us some statistics, Phil?
Absolutely, brother Ron. I can give you a little bit of a rundown. So in terms of statistics, it's kind of a complex picture. Generally speaking, most data suggests that women are more often the victims rather than the lead cause in domestic violence situations. For example, in the US, statistics tend to show that the majority of victims in reported cases are women, and men are more frequently the perpetrators. That said, it's not a one size fits all, and there are absolutely situations where women can be the primary aggressors. But percentage wise, it's much lower. It's more common to see about 1 in 3 women experiencing domestic violence in a lifetime versus a lower percentage of men. So that's kind of the lay of the land in terms of the numbers. If you need more specifics, just let me know.
I want to say this. How many men you think don't report domestic violence situations? Like, a lot of men don't want to report it because they're embarrassed. What do you think is the percentage on that field? Or can you tell us anything?
Yeah, absolutely, brother Ron. That's a really important point, and you're spot on. A lot of men do feel embarrassed or hesitant to report domestic violence. As a stigma, social expectations, or just a feeling that they won't be taken seriously. In terms of percentages, it's hard to get an exact number, but many studies suggest that male underreporting is significant. Some estimates say that a large proportion of male victims, maybe half or more, never actually report their experiences. So it's a pretty big chunk of cases that we just don't see in the official statistics. But yeah, you're definitely right. There's a hidden dimension there for sure.
All right, Phil, I'm going to sit you out right now. And Judge, what's your take on the situation when women being responsible for domestic violence situations? Because I know you got experience being a judge in law.
Oh, and in life, let me give you what I think the real problem is.
Well, brother Ron,
not problem, but just an illustration of an actuality that still holds in certain places.
Mm-hmm.
There was a movie starring John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara, Frontier. He was one of his typical sheriffs, sheriff. And they had this nascent romance, which was clumsy because he was playing strong, silent type. And she hauls off and slaps him. Blam! He doesn't do anything. She slaps him again. Blam! And he just puts his arms around her, hugs her, and then she melts and kisses him. In other words, the masculine position has historically been, woman can't hurt me, so I'm not going to react to it. Slap me, hit me, no big deal. You're too weak. And that's not a bad policy if you're training horses or dogs or anything else. If they try to nip you or do something, act like nothing happened, and they go, oh, wow, I didn't even do anything. Maybe I need to straighten up before something happens coming back. So it's a outlook, and I don't know if it's embarrassing. I've had it happen to me over my years in life. I just sort of look at it as like, oh, come on, don't even try. That's not going to hurt me. What's the matter with you? Can't you come up with something that expresses your position a little better? And it's not anything to report because it's insignificant. And You may have the attitude that most of the guys on my generation did, which is, I'm not going to let you kill me. I'll take the gun away from you or the knife or knock it out of your hand. But, I expect you to act crazy and emotional. Your left brain and right brain are too synaptically connected for you to be able to distinguish between emotions as a motivator, your mind as a way of establishing what you do, so you don't let the other one lapse over into taking that role. You just may let it influence, but then you think about it coldly and rationally, reasonably, logically, and analytically and objectively. But, you know, um, women aren't as strong and big as us. I mean, contrary to what they hear now, and unless they're going to shoot you or something, where it's not a matter of equality. It's like the old saying. You remember who Sam Colt was, the guy that invented the revolver? And they had a saying, God made man and Sam Colt made them equal. In other words, it's an equalizer. So with something like that, yeah, you can be concerned, but for the most part, unless somebody's going to use a deadly weapon that can be used from a distance or by ambush or sneak attack, guy doesn't have anything to worry about with a woman. Unless she's got some, knock the weapon out of her hand, take it away. I assume you have done your manly homework and become reasonably proficient in the manly art of self-defense. So doing that, you don't have to worry about a woman other than her being an annoyance if she's going to do it, or maybe getting a cut or a bruise or something or a scratch. That happens, but it's nothing.
What if a woman like assault you, like punch you in the
That's
face?
just my general attitude toward it.
Yeah, but
And there's a thing that I've said over and over. There are two ways of saying, and I only say one. It's just from which side you take it. A guy who's got a beat on a woman is too big a fool for the woman to deal with, or the woman's too big a fool for him to be around.
That's deep right there. But what you say about a woman that will punch you in the face with brass knuckles or destroy your property?
Can't hear you.
Oh, you can't judge. You can't hear. Can you hear me now? Hello? Let's see. Judge, I know we're doing market. So we get like some interesting stuff going on.
Let's see. Let me try to come back in here and see if I can get this right.
I definitely want to ask Judge this question. A couple of questions. I think it's very important. I think men need to pay attention.
Oh, man.
And we're gonna be all right. We're gonna get it done. I know it's a Mercury retrograde going on, but we are thankful and grateful to have this conversation with the Honorable Judge Joe Brown.
All right.
Some gems as usual. Judge, can you hear me?
I'm gonna have to go out and come back in. I can't hear a word you're saying.
Yes, sir. That'll be okay. And we're going, like we said, we're going to enjoy the ride. It's going to be bumpy at times, but I think it's important to talk about domestic violence and also about men dealing with domestic violence. I think that's a very important topic. It's been kind of taboo, but I want to get it out there. Judge is old school perspective, and I'm a younger guy, and I have my own stories about, dealing with women that might be a little bit violent. But I want to talk about this. I want to normalize the discussion of domestic violence, not just from men, but women being the leads in that, and have more honest dialogue around that. I want to start discussions like, not no toxic situation, but a better understanding, because I believe a lot of that is underreported, because men are embarrassed about going to the authorities when a woman misbehaves and acts out of bad faith. Don't really, do stuff that could be detrimental and even traumatic for the man. Because we've been told this: you don't put your hands on a woman for any reason. But I feel like you have a right to self-defense. Judge, can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Yeah, I want to ask you because I know, I met some, I had some interesting situations with women, some violent women. I know women that have punched men, use brass knuckles and stilettos. I know a woman who used brass knuckles and stilettos to bust out dude's car and stuff like that and put hands on him. He defended himself. I know guys who have reported these women to police, but never, maybe like not press charges. But the thing about it is you got women out there. It's a different time right now. A lot of women think they're men. They're very aggressive. They are, some of them are addicts. They're on all types of drugs, street and legal, whatever. So you don't
You
know
got a
what you're
lot
dealing
of
with.
those holding political office these days too.
So what do you do in that situation as a man when you got a
Well,
woman?
here's what I mean. It's all relative to the circumstances. Like I say, I tend to ignore it. Though sometimes I would tell somebody if I was representing you, I'd say you don't necessarily have to issue a formal complaint, but you certainly might wish to report it. So if
Mhm,
something does come up, like somebody I know did that, and he had 5 legitimate reports. So when the other one decided to come up, that became the context for the
mhm,
complaint on the other side, which helps out in the long run. So sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And there's always this thing, too. Sometimes it's not a question of whether somebody's a fool, but how big a fool can a fool be?
right.
And some women just don't get it. Everybody may be of equal value or
Mhm,
potential value, but we're not all equal in what we can do. Obviously, we can't dunk a basketball like LeBron or something like that, but
mhm,
you might wind up inventing something that is very worthwhile. So you have an equality of circumstance, but not necessarily equality of the abilities that you do have. So some women think they are the equal of men, and our, again, educational system hasn't helped us out over the last 50 years, where we have Kill Bill type things and
mhm,
other productions where the angry woman goes and out physicals the guy and whips him. Yeah, so I mean that's a lot of mythology.
mhm,
I knew well, I still know her. She's still alive, and the guy in question, is dead. Um, Her name was Graziella.
okay.
Graziella is a tenured college professor. All right.
Mhm,
She's not the biggest thing in the world, but she is a mistress of martial arts. And eskrima, that is knife fighting, is one of her specialties. And when it came to actual physicality, she years ago used to fight before it became popular with the cage combat stuff in
mhm,
full contact karate. And she had 32 bouts, and she won 28 of them by knockout and the other 4 by decision. But she'd tell you in a minute and say, if I'm getting ready to go up against a guy, I don't care what the hell I know. That's only to get away. If
mhm,
if something's going down, I'm calling, and it's the guy that died. Name's Cliff. I've
mhm,
talked to you about him, but he said, I'm
mhm,
calling Cliff to hell with that. I don't care who it is. So
mhm,
it's just a matter of perspective, and she would shake her head at some of what she sees or what's out there right now. Um, Women have a unique ability to diffuse situations, to smooth things out, to
mhm,
get their ways simply because they can get guys to do things, but they keep teaching guys to be girls these days, so they don't recognize it. Nobody's teaching boys and girls 101 A and B, so
right.
they don't know how to get along with each other. So some people, supported very aptly by the Democratic Party, have forgotten what it is to be men and women, And when it comes to dealing with each other, they don't mesh. They do this,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't get along. So it's tragic, but it is what it is. Probably got to do with why the rate of marriage has dropped so low, and so many of these boys just get sent straight to hell because there's no manhood around to assist them in their development, and there's no manhood to favorably impact the girls on their way to womanhood. So, not saying that all women are bad, but it's always a bad idea when you go into a situation saying, we're not going to allow or we won't promote this child having the benefit of a typical human upbringing with father and mother around, or at least male influence.
I mean, that's a good point. But I think about some of the women that I have encountered. It made me question about, like, why would you get married as a man with his right mind? You know, in this day
It
and
is,
age with the women, huh?
yeah. Like it's like, excuse me, what's wrong? One woman one time said, "Where do you think you're going?" I said, "Somewhere not around you." I said, "You know, I'd have lost my mind if I stayed here with you." It's crazy.
But yeah, you ever dealt with a woman that you like, but she has an addiction problem? And you know, I learned
Oh,
that they can't
no, 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 no. Get the hell out of there. You're
get the
not
hell out of
doing
there.
her any favor or you're any favor.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy told me years and years ago, a lot older than me,
Mm-hmm.
he said, Joe, he said, any woman you got to hit on is too big a fool to be around.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you run into one that would strike you as somebody that would put herself in that position, get the hell out of her face, get the hell out of her vicinity, tear her phone number up, and avoid seeing her.
That's some wise words. I appreciate.
Any woman you need to beat on is too big a fool for you to be around. And if you hang around, you're too big a fool to be there in the first place, to be with yourself.
But it's someone they want to encourage guys to be up on. 'Cause I remember I encountered somebody went to prison for allegedly assaulting her and stuff. But when I look at the case, it's like, okay, maybe he didn't do all what she claimed he did, because they actually reduced his sentence based on whatever
Well,
they, came out in
I,
court.
as a lawyer, now retired, I went to law school with her. I was 2 years ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
She was tiny,
Mm-hmm.
and she made a career of being involved in rescuing, defending, or advocating for abused women. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But she personally was one of the most violent humans I had ever seen in my life. She really never could date anybody more than about a week and a half because of her violence. I'll give you an example. A bunch of us had a picnic, right? People are playing bid whisk. You know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody she was with had a Boston going on. Take that man, blah, blah, this and that, and here we go. Deal with this, blah. She said, baby, I want a hot dog. When I get through with this Boston, I'm getting ready to run. Blah, blah, blah. I said I wanted a hot dog. Okay. So in those days, so soft drinks came in glass bottles, and they had these big 16-ounce ones, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She walked over to the trash can, fished out a 16-ounce bottle, came over behind him, and bam! Hit him right across the back of the head. We thought she had done him some serious harm. He got a concussion, but fortunately for her career, he didn't go in about it. I mean, he had
Oh
drool
man.
coming out of his mouth. What did you do to him? I wanted a hot dog. Well, you didn't have to come do that now. Fast forward a few years, she's in law school. I'm mentoring some first year law students. So we're sitting in the UCLA Law Library,
Mm-hmm.
and they had all these flower arrangements in these big vases, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the back section of the library, and I've got 8 students I'm mentoring on this particular thing. I think it was contracts.
Uh-huh.
And this one guy said, Joe, I haven't read that stuff, man. You know, like just pass on me. Um, I'm gonna read it tonight. So he got mad. I came in here to get assistance. What do you mean you haven't read it? Well, you calling them. I just haven't read it. And we were going on a round table, and I was asking people questions about, you know, some points of law. And this guy said, well, I had said I hadn't read this case, but I get the impression that so and so. That's not a bad impression. You're pretty straight up on that. And this woman says again, you're letting us down by not contributing to this. He said, well, I just did. I had to work last night. Okay, that ain't my problem. So he's sitting there and he's taking notes. You taking notes, relying on us? He said, yeah, I'm taking notes. So she gets up. I got to go to the women's room. She goes to the restroom. She comes back. Instead of sitting down, she grabs this big flower pot and breaks it across this guy's head. Blam!
What the?
Knocks him flat on the ground. I mean, she made him unconscious, and there was water all over the floor and everything. You go, well, damn, what did you just do? You know, so the guy was breathing, and he came, you know, like, damn. He didn't report it either, but this is the one that over the course of her 45 years of legal career, it was about saving abused women and fighting against horrible men who were violent toward women.
Whoa.
And you know, there's a thing, I think it's inexcusable to brutalize a woman. But there's one interesting thing that people need to understand. It's called goading, Goading. You can successfully goad a very peaceful dog into being violent. You can goad the most peaceful of humans into being violent. And some individuals just do not get how it goes when you're interacting with another human, and they goad people into violence. And I've actually seen people in my court, you know, complaining about being the victims of some crime. And when you watched what they do, you say to yourself, it's inappropriate that this guy responded, but this person goaded him into becoming violent.
So it's all about content. So she was goaded by these people to do this. I mean, like not giving her the hot dog when she wanted it, and also
Yeah, I mean, and it's what do you call low impulse control?
But she don't have it on. Yeah. But why is the guy's blamed for what she can't control? I mean, why has she got no restraint over her emotions like that? That's crazy for her to get
low impulse control, and that's
and she never got in trouble for that. And she never
got in trouble, but she made a career, you know, going through. One time, she even came to the Tennessee Judicial Conference to talk about spousal abuse and violence. And I looked and saw who it was. I said, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Was she ever get married though? Was she ever married?
No, she didn't.
Damn, like how can that is crazy, but it's this the world the way it is. But It's like it explains. I know a woman that got that type of reputation, but she got a rap sheet longer than her arm.
Well, people didn't report such things back then.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That is interesting. Wow, like what the guys they were okay though, huh? They were like, "Oh, I'm good."
I mean, the guy she hit with the vase and the flowers took he didn't revive for a few minutes. He was cold, knocked out. And the other one that she hit with the bottle was stunned. And I mean, she'd always throw stuff at people. That was just routine. Look out for so and so. She's mad about something. Oh, yeah, man, just be
That is
on your
crazy. That
toes so you can dodge.
yeah, cause I know people. I know met a person like she's a woman. She would get in people personal space and she didn't know. They were like, then they didn't. I thought they go slap the crap out of her. They didn't do anything. Like she was just like all in their faces and stuff, escalating things. And I one situation I was trying to de-escalate stuff. She escalated petty stuff. And I said, a
Yeah.
woman that would escalate petty things, I don't need to be around. That's danger.
Well,
She's dangerous.
if for the last 50 years, it's not so much right now because it's assumed it's women were expected to show that they were on the same level as men. And sometimes it's like, baby, you don't need to do that because even if it was two men, they'd be fighting.
Mm-hmm.
See, and that's another thing too. You don't get fights on the playground anymore. That used to be endemic when I was growing up. So by the time you got 13, 14, 15 years old, you knew that if you did this, you were going to get in a fight. Was it worth being in a fight? No, then don't. If it
Mm-hmm.
was, then go for it, or if you didn't care, go for it. But you knew you were going to fight by the time you got to the 12th grade. It was just like you have these protocols that you have when you deal with each other. So you don't provoke the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, you don't have that now. So you get police, you get citizens, you get women, you get men, and they continuously provoke each other to the point of combat without realizing it because essentially throughout their lives they never had their ass kicked. And then you find when you get cops, they've never been in a fist fight in their whole lives. So here they are the first time it comes up out there on the streets. That adrenaline is pumping, the panic is set in. Oh my God, what's going to happen? But see, if you've been in a whole bunch of fights, it's like, oh man, here we go again.
Yes, sir.
Oh my
Well,
God, what am I going to do? I mean, what's it going to feel like if somebody hits me, man? How do I sit there? Does this work, man? Did I pay enough attention? And see, but otherwise, no, this ain't worth it. But if this dude comes on, I think he's probably going to lead with, then I'll do this up with that, bam, this way, take him
uh,
down, and that'll be the end of it.
well,
But
Judge, let me ask you this. I think I found this curious because I think about uh, you ever had any cases on your TV show where you had to deal with a man bringing up charges against a woman about disrespect, like being extra handsy with him, like being violent towards him? You ever had one of those cases appear
Well,
in your
here's
court?
the thing. They've dummied down the law. There used to be an offense called assault, and there
Mm-hmm.
used to be an offense called battery. And
Right.
then there was a conjoined offense called assault and battery. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what is a battery? A battery is an unpermitted touching not done in the sense of pleasantry. That's the old English common law definition. What is the sense of pleasantry?
Mm-hmm.
Slap somebody on the back. Hey, Al, man, it's so great seeing you. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I thought you were an old buddy of mine, Al.
Mm-hmm.
See, that was touching, but it was in the sense of pleasantry. You shake somebody's hand, that's in the sense of pleasantry. You cuff somebody on the shoulder. Yeah, man, that's right. That's in the sense of pleasantry. Now, what is an assault? An assault is causing a person to be apprehensive that they are to be subjected to an unpermitted touching. Now, what do I mean by apprehensive? It does not mean fearful. It's apprehensive. What's the difference? You're 245 pound, 28-year-old all pro NFL linebacker, and an 85-pound Judge Judy, who is 80 years old, comes up in a senile condition and says she's not, that's how small she is. And she comes up and says, "You look like somebody I can't stand for years," and goes to pull her hand back and slap you. She's only 85 pounds. You're 245. You've been busting heads playing linebacker for a long time. You're not in fear of her striking you, but you are apprehensive that she might. That's an assault. So if you put somebody in a position where they became apprehensive that you might strike them, that's an assault. So getting all up in somebody's face is a common law assault. Drawing your hand back like you're going to hit somebody under the circumstances that are 10 to 2 of you at the time is an assault. But we have had a bunch of dumb legislators who didn't get it, and they morphed everything to an assault to mean the full-on attack without differentiating with what happens beforehand. So people come up with their own little stupid modifications. How many times he engaged in a verbal assault? What the hell do you mean a verbal assault? A verbal altercation? That's an argument. That's not an altercation. An altercation is a fight, a physical struggle. We had a verbal altercation. You had an argument.
I do hear
So,
that.
you know, people no longer make a distinction because they've been so mentally crippled that they look at any adversity as equivalent to the worst adversity. In other words, somebody punches you out, knocks you out. I mean,
Right.
that's embarrassing. But that's a different form of adversity than "you stupid son of a bitch. What the hell's wrong with you?" You
Yeah,
know, or
I hear that.
you see what the difference is? And the people put them together and nobody teaches them. I mean, it hasn't been that recent a change. You look at Back to the Future. McFly goes back, gets his dad to stand up to Biff. And when he comes back to his present, Biff works for Dad instead of shoving Dad around. But they don't. That was in the 80s. Well, I guess that's 40 years ago
That's
almost.
crazy to think about. Time is flying, McFlying, indeed. But you ever had that situation in any of your courts in like this regular
Yeah, I
life?
just said I'd seen it happen up in the courtroom.
Really? You know, I blame Reagan for shutting down the mental institutions back in.
Yeah, you should.
This is what we're dealing with. You got the crackheads, and you got the mentally insane making babies and grandkids now and great grand. The country's a big mental asylum.
Yeah, it is.
Asylum. I mean, it is. That's why I try to be kind. That's why I say dealing with women. I don't want to date right now because some of these women are off. They judge. You just don't. I think you understand, but it's so different.
It's hard to find women.
I don't want to date
days.
right now.
It's hard to find women these days because they've been
crazy.
conditioned to do those things that are exactly opposite to what's necessary to make a happy home.
Right. Because women got to keep, if the woman can't keep peace, man, I don't want to be around an unpeaceful, chaotic woman like that.
No, that's not amusing.
No, it's not.
It's like,
draining.
Why do you want to fight? Well, I want to make sure that I come out on top. Why is that important? Cooperate.
Right.
What are you trying to do? Go join a flag football league or something.
It's crazy. Cause I'll be trying to like, then they'll call you a punk if you trying to, de-escalate and mediate and trying to keep, everybody, does not get, oh, you a punk for doing that. These guys taking advantage of you. I said, not really. I'm just trying to keep the peace. I want to make sure my back is covered. Cause I'm not from here and I don't want to be on the street and he can't say, oh, this is the guy that messed us over. Or he was with that girl that messed us over. Let's get him. If a woman puts you in those type of situations.
Punk play stuff. You don't sit there and gun down a man because some woman looked at him twice that you were interested in.
Yeah,
At most, you keep your mouth shut and get your own game together.
it's woman's choice, it's ladies' choice always. You
Yeah,
know,
and
if
if
choose
it get
me, choose me, or choose me.
and and if it gets to a conflict, punch it out.
But you know, the
Don't
thing
shoot
about
it
it
out,
is,
punch it out.
they got on social media, it stays forever. People don't like to look bad. No, that's when they record you, that's forever. Back in your time, they didn't have social media or phones where you record people getting the ass whooped. Y'all can talk it out and make up and be friends, but that's forever once they get you on camera getting knocked out or slapped. That's what they looking at.
Spent all this time learning how to do a line dance and not enough trying to figure out how to do martial arts. And then a line dance, I refuse to learn. I call that I can't get nobody to dance with me dancing.
Yeah, I don't care for line. I boycott that. I
If
don't
I
care for
want
it.
to dance, I'll go ask a woman to dance and we'll dance maybe 2 or 3 of them at a time. But I
Yeah,
ain't getting
okay.
in any line dance. That always struck me as silly.
But you know the thing about it is women that dance with each other, they don't even want to dance with men.
I know that.
You know, they're like, why are we here though? Like, what's the point? You know, my sister told me she went to an adult prom. It was nothing but women there. Like maybe 1 or 2 dudes. I said, why you didn't tell me about it? I would have came
What
up
the
to
hell is an adult prom?
I mean, like, you know, women, I guess, you know, you missed out. You know, people trying to relive things, but it was nothing but women there. And it was no dudes. It was like women got dressed up. They spend all this money on dresses and whatnot. It was no guys there, really. Maybe
You
1 or 2.
know,
I said, I would have loved to have been there.
a very beautiful woman, Aida Rodriguez. She's Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
She's a stand-up comedian. She's been here in Memphis a time or 2.
Mm-hmm.
She and I are friends. So some years ago, her 20-something-year-old daughter, who was just drop dead gorgeous, tall and fine,
Mm-hmm.
was hired by Anheuser-Busch to do some modeling. So it was at a venue, literally in 90210 Beverly Hills, in this downstairs nightclub like you
Yeah.
see in the movies. Big,
Mm-hmm.
huge place.
Mm-hmm.
They had several DJs, couple of bands, and all of this. And some of the older adults who were parents of some of the young ladies who were the professional models, and they were pros. That's what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was Aida's date, I guess. And we're down there and we're looking at these guys all walked hunched over, looking straight ahead. And all of these pretty, pretty girls. This is Hollywood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They are see-through, brief, bare, and they look like they'd been going to the gym working
Oh, I
out
like that.
heavy.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys ain't even looking. And we're going, what's the matter? And then the gay boys were out on the floor dancing with each other in one corner of this big dance floor. And the lesbians, young lesbians, were over here dancing with each other in one corner on the opposite corner. And nobody normal was out dancing. So we grown folk were going, something's wrong with this picture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So somebody said, we're going to ask these kids. So I go over and I say, young man, why aren't you paying attention to, you know?
Right.
Yeah, they looking good, but I ain't going over there, you know, hey, man, I ain't getting no little fool getting the opportunity to work me. They just running game, man, trying to see if they get some money, man. If they
Uh-huh.
want to take my digits, man, I'll give it to them. They can call me.
Uh-huh. That sounds about right.
And then one of the women went over and asked one of them, baby, why do you keep running your fingers through this other girl's hair? Are you a lesbian or something? She said, no, I just want to meet her. That's how we signal we want to meet.
Hmm.
Oh, Well, how come you don't talk to the boys? Ain't nobody got no time for them.
Mm.
So you're a lesbian. No. Well, you said you didn't have time for the boys. Hey,
Wow.
they came back and we had a little group meeting in the back, like, what the hell are we looking at?
Social media programming.
It's like, what the hell happened here?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, this is Beverly Hills. This is a very exclusive club. This is West Hollywood. This is not, what is going wrong here?
Mm.
And these girls are very attractive.
Right.
And the boys aren't even looking.
Mm. It's a reverse. I mean, it's kind of weird because, like, you're afraid to get a charge though, like a Me Too, sexual harassment. You give a woman a compliment, sometimes they'll take offense to that. Like, a lot of guys ain't used to being active because, like, the roles have been reversed. Where women are more aggressive now these days than the men.
Yeah, well, I've had many a grown woman tell me, what's wrong with the guys? They don't compliment the girls. I said, hey, bad. She said, I feel bad. Nobody's told me I look good in a long time. I said, well, they're scared to do it. And this woman said, I wish I could find one of these lesbian fools and slap them upside their heads for ruining it for all the rest of the normal women. I said, well, that's they have the media in their pocket, and that's what they've done to insinuate their worldview. Yours is supposedly obsolete.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for ours, they wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate, man, to look at the reality of the situation that we find ourselves in. Hopefully it could be remedied, the so-called battle of the sexes and stuff needs to be put.
There's always been a battle of the sexes, but hell is fun.
Well, Judge, thank you so much. Sometimes it's like moderation, but Judge, thank you so much for spending so much time with us today, dropping that wisdom as usual. Hopefully the people got enough sense to rewind and pick it up off the flow and put it in their pocket so it could grow some more. So on that note, thank you so much, sir.
All right, young man, take it easy. Right. I'm out of here.
Yes, sir.